Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. It's Marvellous Monday, and it's the 20th of July. Yes, just checking my date there, 20th of July. And I've been doing this since March. I can't believe this. But I got to thinking about the months of lockdown and negative news and doom and gloom all around the world, and my last few talks about trying to be content and be happy. And so I've had kind of difficult times, kind of trying to juggle sort of some work. I'm fortunate to have work. So I decided that I would really beef up the use of my ABC, and I managed to get myself back on track, both fun and marking. So I had fun with the grandchildren. I've got lots to do, but you've got to remember that I think you've got to prioritise in life. You know, you can't just all be work, work, work to the detriment of maybe friends and family. So, of course, it's great actually seeing family and being able to visit them now since the lockdown, and I hope it stays that way and we don't go down more negative news of second waves and things. Anyway, we've to stay as upbeat as possible, so I want you to start your week off with it being marvellous, absolutely marvellous. So I've called it Marvellous Monday. When you keep hearing negative news, it's difficult to actually keep enthusiastic about life, and but don't, of course, judge people that have, just because they've kind of got a smile on their face or they're always happy, that they don't have problems and don't have challenges. We all do. But you have to try and kind of see the more positives out of things. So how do you stay positive in a world where we always seem to hear about is just bad news? It's difficult to ignore the tragedy that's all around our world, and sometimes it's often sort of too much to bear, and you find yourself, I know I can, sort of going into tears and falling about and just wanting to kind of crawl away and just hope things were better. You really hope for a world of peace and everyone kind of loving each other more. So, in addition to the human stories, of course, there are more and more people. I think they're kind of worried about the finances. They don't know. The economy is really bad, so they don't know whether they're going back to a job or managing to keep their job. There will be many sleepless nights for them and lots of negative, panicky thoughts going round and round in their heads. So, how what do we do at this time? I mean, it's during these very difficult times that you need to be as positive as you can and stay strong. You've got to be courageous. You've got to be resilient. And I hope through using my ABC techniques that it helps people to get through the difficult times. If you use them, you help yourself face and get over challenges, and you can see them as opportunities. I developed these and I speak about these from personal experience of the many challenges I've been through. I've faced things like loss of material things, loss of jobs, thinking things would never get better, and I kind of came through these out the other end by being positive. And then, of course, I was hit with personal tragedy. Now, sometimes when something hits you, you think, oh, I'll never get over this. And then something else happens. And of course, being hit by the personal tragedy of the loss of my son, my gorgeous son, I wondered, how was I going to go on? But in fact, I find I'm still here and I remain as positive as I can. Of course, I've got bad days. I mean, I've got bad moments. Who wouldn't? But I still think I'm honouring his life by being much more positive and moving forward and helping others, as I can see that by helping others and give them that courage and resilience that they too can endure life. I call it endure because when tragedy hits you, you're not surviving anything. Surviving assumes that you're getting over something. Now, you never get over the loss of a loved one or the loss of, really, whether it's your pet or anything. You grieve. You don't get over it. So you endure life. You endure every day in a different way. So that I quite liked that. It was I think I've talked about that before. It was an Australian journalist, and she interviewed people who'd suffered terrible tragedies, whether their own almost loss of life or the loss of a loved one. And I loved how some of them really never called themselves a victim. They never called themselves as surviving. They called themselves as enduring. And I think it's a wonderful thing. And I've written, just completed a book on courage and resilience, the key to endurance, because you can endure life. It just will be different. And I'm happy to say at this point that in the next few weeks, I'm just in the final. The publishers have sent me my The Weight of Emptiness books. I'm really excited about that, and I'll be letting everybody know when that's actually ready to be purchased. So I look forward to that. So people who get through difficulties in life and the tragedies and they stay positive, people who do that, they're an inspiration to others. And that's what you would want to be. You want to be remembered as though that's the person that inspired me. And look back at lots of people you know and who are the ones that inspire you. And they usually are the ones who've suffered terribly. It doesn't matter in what way, but they've actually seen light at the end of the tunnel. They're the shining light in the dark sky. So, what do we do to keep this enthusiasm for life? So here are some tips. And of course, I'm like my broken record again, because you've heard some of these, not once, not twice, maybe even more than that. But I make no apologies because they do work. You need to be doing these things for yourself to feel that energy and that enthusiasm for life. And it's interesting that I'm hoping there's no white noise today, because I thought it was my voice was going the other day, but actually I think it was white noise from the computer. And this is the busiest time for me and I need my computer. And of course it started stalling. I don't know if anybody has seen or had this happen, but you're typing away and nothing appears on the screen. So you type it again and then suddenly duplicates appear of what you've typed, And I've gone through times where Walter, my lovely IT guy, said, "You're typing too fast." And I thought, that can't be it. So we've realised that actually there's perhaps the processing of the computer. So he kindly dropped off another one. So I've got a kind of mix and match. If this one stalls, I can go to another computer and manage to finish the work, because I have deadlines on that. But I still love time for myself. And in fact, sorry, I'm digressing here, but I'm so excited. This week, I've got a ladies' day tomorrow with a 93-year-old, and we're all gathering at her house. We'll socially distance, I think, still, whether we need to or not, because I think we're going to, hopefully the weather will stay this, good. It's good today, and we'll maybe be out in the garden. So if to wear hats, it's like almost like a mini garden party. So I'm all excited about that. Anyway, back to the point in hand. How do you stay enthusiastic? You can see I'm enthusiastic because I'm looking forward to something tomorrow. So first of all, stop watching the news, especially the bad news. Instead of that, listen or read inspirational stories. Just think about how much better we felt when we heard the inspirational stories of Captain Tom Moore, or now Sir Tom Moore, and others like him. There's lots of people in their 90s, they're playing the piano for days to, just inspire people. Walking up hills is another lady. They're raising money as well. But in fact, by them even doing these activities, we're inspired. Just imagine when you're not wanting to get up in the morning or get out and you think, by goodness, I'm not even 90 yet. And look at these 90-year-olds doing that. They're an inspiration. So I know that we have routines. Probably lots of our routines are getting up and the first thing you do is listen to the news, and that might be okay for you. Don't constantly listen to the negative news. You can do a catch up, probably not before you go to bed, because that would just depress you. So you want to get fired up and energized and think of something that has inspired you. It just makes you feel so good. So if you've always listened to the news and that's a routine, change your routine. So do a catch up, but the negative news impacts on your state of mind and your body. So it affects your emotions, it increases stress, and you even lose how to be creative or innovative. And that's just, just brings you down. Because of the internet, of course, we hear about things much quicker. I was just saying to the grandchildren, they were going, oh, they've obviously been learning and reading, maybe even in the lockdown, about the Spanish flu and this, lots of kind of maybe negative things. And I said, yes, but we now hear about things almost before they happen. As soon as they happen, we hear about it. So I think you can get quite well, what's the thing? Quite frightened and scared of that. So little doses of the news, I think, is enough. And be ready to look at, if you get at negative news, look at something else that can inspire you. So it can be good to hear about things immediately, of course, because we can then prepare. But it's got bad in that we always think there's just negativity all around the world, and we rarely hear about all the inspirational things that are going on. And I think actually in New Zealand, the Jacinda Ardern, now she seemed to manage what she was doing for her country, and that inspired people. So rather than hearing about how we're supposed to be coping, there's mixed messages. And I think that's another difficulty people have. So I feel in this time, one of the things I've found is looking at what's going on in the world is I'm thankful that Bruce is gone. He was such an emotional guy that I don't think he could have coped with this. He would have wanted to help everybody, and you just can't. We can all do our part, but it's just impossible to try and completely change everyone all at once. I'm hoping that little by little people can see the best in people rather than the worst, and the ripple effect, and maybe this can make the world a better place bit by bit. If you do need a routine, you need to do things that make you happy and energize you. Go for a walk with the dog if you've got a pet. Go for a walk just out in nature. Nature inspires us all. Some people work out in the gym, and that's great, but in fact you need to not forget to work out your mind as well. If you work out constantly in the gym, you can get quite aggressive. So when you're working out in the gym, do some mind exercises as well. That's why yoga, I think, is quite good, because you're calming down, you're having sort of body exercises plus the mind. The next tip is stay focused and positive on something. And of course, that's what I'm doing. I'm really excited about tomorrow. So I'm fired up today, and you can probably see that. But when you feel down and your mind starts going round and round and round, and negative thoughts are invading your mind, you will immediately feel brighter if you decide to focus on something you want to do and then go for it. And of course, you can use my ABC for that. You can affirm what you're doing, the focus is on your deep breathing, which energizes you but still calms you, and then use your creative imagination to achieve what you focused on. Just imagine it has all happened. It also helps if you write down what you decide to do and put it on a card or a post-it note, put it on the fridge, put it wherever, and that actually can excite you when you're sort of feeling down, think, oh right, and you have it to hand and carry it around where you can see it, because as soon as you focus on that brighter thing you're going to do, it doesn't matter what it is. As I say, it might be just phoning someone later that you haven't spoken to for a while, taking a walk, just wonderful short things, and they can be free. You might want to treat yourself to something, but you don't need to spend money. And of course, I've said it before, say it again, smile. A smile costs you nothing. If you're sort of feeling down, and some of you may have gone through this kind of training, but I know when I was talking or maybe training people in telephone skills, I used to say the first thing you do is smile. And they were all like, what? Nobody sees us. And I said, yes, but you can sense that smile. You can sense that just upbeat kind of voice with the smile coming. And Eddie reminds me of this when I do my voiceovers. He'll stop me and he'll go, nope, you weren't smiling. And I could just talk like this, and and you'd all be, oh, here she goes again. Whereas if you smile, it immediately brightens you up and energizes you. So start smiling. You can have your journal or your notebook to hand. And the next thing I want you to do is write down everything that makes you smile. What makes you happy? Better still, actually, you could go somewhere alone. And we've talked about the bathroom before. That was the famous one. If we're all living together and couldn't get out, we'd go to the bathroom. I sometimes go to the car. I'm fortunate to have a car and I can drive. I sometimes go into the car and I can shout out loud what I'm smiling about. Even sing whatever it is. You don't have to have a great voice. You're alone. You can do this, of course, with the family too. I think it's quite a good thing if the children are getting so maybe obsessed with all the negative news. You can start as almost like a game, saying, right, we're going to write down or talk about what do we love? What do we love to do? And what makes you happy? And children would love to do this. They'd probably say, oh, I like dancing, I like singing, I like music. So write down anything. I mean, I just love Darcy, my son's dog. She's a big dog, but she thinks she's a lap dog. And I love her because we call her the Velcro dog, because she just wants to be touching her humans. So she loves that. And so anything that makes you happy. The next tip for feeling better is and more energized is block out noise from around you. Now, we've probably been alone a lot of the time in lockdown, or we've just been maybe with a family. But when you're at work as well, or you're meeting up with people, there often is someone who's kind of just puts a spoke in the wheel. They're like, they bring up something like, oh, I wasn't feeling so good at the weekend, or something like that. And suddenly you're kind of listening to all this negative noise from around you. So you can block it out, excuse yourself, or if it's outside and you're listening maybe to people, groups talking about something that can be quite annoying, put on your headphones, block them out, listen to your favourite songs, your music, and you will immediately feel better. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, dump negative people. You don't need to have negative people around you, and leave the room if you're living with people. And we can't all be positive at the same time, but some people just love to be negative. In fact, some people, I think, enjoy being negative, and I don't understand it myself. And I'm able to say to them now, look, I don't really want negativity around about me. So I would actually just excuse myself, leave the room, move away from these people. Tell them that you don't want or need to have negativity around you. Say it as nicely as you can. If they take offence, that's their problem, not yours. And I hope maybe that they will learn to be a bit more positive. It can be difficult if it's a member of your family, but just take yourself off to the bathroom, do your deep breathing, look in the mirror and just go, I am fine, so you can just raise your energy. Have you ever felt on top of the world and, until suddenly somebody negative comes along and says, oh, well, I wouldn't be doing that. And suddenly you're kind of thrown, your energy is drained from you and they've got you feeling down. Well, that happens within seconds. So just, say to yourself, I don't need to listen to this. Take yourself off to the bathroom or whatever and immediately do your breathing, saying, I feel fine, and smile, and you really will. Suddenly you will feel much better. Sometimes the negative people don't even realise that, they're being negative. In fact, you might have been a negative person and you're turning more positive. I remember I was working with a group where there was one lady who everything was, no, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't, just negativity. And I talked to her sort of on a one-to-one, and I said to her, look, is there anything you enjoy doing and what do you like doing? And as she started talking about the things she liked, and she was I could see her face, her eyes begin to sparkle, and she did start to change. Now, she was working with a group who were fairly positive, and she'd been the negative one. It was like the glass empty, not even the glass half full, the glass empty. And then I had to meet up with this group again, and it was interesting because there was the energy was slightly lower, and I said to the group, I said, "What's happened?" And they actually, this, we'll call her Jean, you know, they said, "Well, it's Jean." And I said, "What about Jean?" Now, Jean had been the negative person, and well, she's changed. I mean, she's all upbeat now, and she comes into work and she's really, quite chatty, and it's all about things she's maybe done that she's liked at the weekend. And I thought, that's interesting. They didn't like her change. And of course, she was like, but I feel much better. So I had to address this and say to them, the reason that you are upset is because you were frightened of change. You couldn't understand change. People are frightened of change. So it wasn't Jean's problem. It now became like the group's problem. And I had to say, but it isn't a problem. You can now all enjoy this. But it's funny. Fear is a funny thing. And change, we're frightened of change. So don't be afraid of change. Face it. And fear, why live in fear when you don't know what's going to go on round the corner? So we managed to kind of sort all of that out, and they realised that actually it's just they had to get used to this new gene. So, and I don't mean the gene, the Gene, but Jean the person. So it became a much happier, more positive group. The other thing is, I think gossip is, maybe we all like to have a wee bit of tittle tattle, but really gossip is not, it tends to be not the truth. So don't listen to gossip and just remove yourself. So today's affirmation, I was thinking we could say, today is marvellous. And that you're going to feel myself lifting my shoulders there, or I feel great. I focus on what I'm happy with or what makes me happy. And you can make up your own. I hope you are doing all of these things. And the Mind Bites meditation today I'm going to do is the safe place, because I think that sometimes you can feel just you feel as if you want to be more happy, not quite sure, and you think you want to be less anxious about things. And this safe place reduces stress. It makes you feel less anxious, and you get more confident. And of course, as soon as you feel maybe you're getting a bit down, you can take yourself off to the safe place. So for today, it's the safe place, and it will help you let go of fear as well. And I think that's an important one. So we have our feet on the ground and our shoulders back, just a nice positive posture, and it makes you feel sort of more confident as well. And remember, our breathing is always from the diaphragm. We push our tummies out as we breathe in through the nose, hold, and then we exhale, and it's like deflating the balloon, the tummy area. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale. Take another deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale. Now imagine yourself in a place that you feel safe. It's a place you like to be. This can be anywhere. Somewhere you like to go to dream or just sit. Imagine your surroundings. All around you is quiet. You feel safe. This is your place. No one can enter this safe place unless you want them to. You feel comfortable just being there. You have no fears when you are there. This is your safe place. Remember this safe place. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold, and when you exhale, let all fear, stress, and tension leave your mind and body. You are no longer stressed. You are not afraid. You feel calm. And you can take yourself to this place whenever you want or need. Now you can open your eyes and just stretch, shake your shoulders, stretch and maybe yawn. And then you can say again to yourself, I feel calm. I feel safe. I feel comfortable. I am no longer anxious. So any of these kind of affirmations. Now I hope you've enjoyed that. I haven't made up any topic for Wednesday yet. And if you want me to talk about something in particular, please private message me or just post up on Facebook. I think I had difficulties with my internet, so I hadn't posted up the previous videos, but I will do that today, and then I'll post up a link to my YouTube channel where they're all there, and you can pick and choose what ones you'd like to listen to again. And I hope that's inspiring and motivating you to have a marvellous day. So we start the week off today feeling marvellous, and it's onwards and upwards from today. And thank you again to everybody for listening and watching. And until Wednesday at 10. Virtual hugs, a smile and virtual hugs to everybody. Thank you. Bye.